Good evening. Tonight, the World Cup provides us with football the South American way. Argentina against Uruguay for a place in the last 8, against England if they can beat Paraguay on Wednesday. But which face will South American football show us tonight, the beauty or the beast? Believe it or not, although Argentina and Uruguay have played each other no fewer than 72 times down the years, their only previous meeting in the World Cup was in the final of the very first tournament. It was held in Montevideo 56 years ago, and Uruguay won 4-2. Well, the referee on that occasion, a Belgian, certainly cut a dash, but he was more concerned about his safety. He'd insisted on guarantees for himself and his linesmen. Then as now, a fixture between these two nations, divided by the River Plate, but united in their passion for football, took on momentous proportions. 90,000 people were there to see it, marshalled into the stadium by soldiers with fixed bayonets. It's often been said, while other countries have their history, Uruguay has its football. Is it that, then, that makes their footballers so blessed with a talent to play, so temperamentally unsuited to reap the full benefit of their skills? In every match in this tournament so far, the Uruguayans have been remembered more for their destructive fouls than their constructive play. Their cynical approach to each match has brought universal criticism within the game. And yet, when in full flow, they can produce great things. Enzo Francescoli typifies Uruguayan football at its best when the cloud of violence lifts and we see that talent to bemuse. Well, that's what we want them to show us tonight. Uruguay against the second favourites, Argentina, the whole match coming up live from Puebla. And remember, it's of particular interest to England, who will meet the winners, hopefully, in the quarter-finals. Well, we have the latest news on England's faulty towers. They're unhappy with their hotel in Mexico City. More of that in a moment. And with their comments, we're joined by Terry and Laurie McMenemy, just flown in from Mexico this morning. You all right? Yeah. Not jet-lagged or anything?
No, I brought the heat with me, Desmond. I got off here. It was hotter here than some of the places I've been to, actually.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
Well, first, let's take a look at the match which was played earlier this evening in Guadalajara between Brazil and Poland. And there's absolutely no doubt which face of South American football was on show there. Tony Gubber commentating.
Smolarek, Jankowski. Socrates wanted too long. Kalashevich knocks it forward, looking for Smolarek. Oh, it hit the post! Confusion in the Brazilian defence. And a scare at the start. And it's the youngster, the 24-year-old, making his first World Cup appearance. Kalashevich, who knocked that ball forward, looking for Smolarek. And the keeper, Carlos, seemed hopelessly lost. And the ball hit the post. Luchetzky, supported by Shibish. Jankowski, still forward, the central defender. Jankowski to Urban. He's come away with it, finally beaten by the tackle. Anxious moments for Brazil. Trying to tee it up for Boniek. Now he can cut this one back. The Polish number 9 thumped against Brazil's crossbar, and again Brazil living dangerously. Poland had kept possession around Brazil's penalty area, and when the ball finally lands at Karash, he hit a marvellous drive from all of 25 yards, which thumped against the crossbar. Elzo, Junior, Branco, Junior. Cross to Josimar. Muller. Still Muller. Into the penalty area. And blocked by Winarczyk in the Polish goal. First real threatening movement from Muller. Kardash. Smolarek. That's a ban ahead of him. Showed too much of the ball to Julio Cesar. Still in possession. And there's only one in the middle, and that's Careca. Socrates has now arrived. Muller. Junior. Careca. And that's a penalty. penalty, says the referee, from 25 yards away. And the Poles are furious. It was a lovely through ball to Careca. There was certainly a collision. And did the Brazilian number 9 make a meal of it? And it's Dr. Socrates who places the ball. A man who once scored from 60 consecutive penalties. And he's taking very little run-up. Didn't he make it look easy? Arrogant and nonchalant, and Brazil lead 1-0. And Boniek's gone across to talk to the referee in a manner which has brought him a caution. A leisurely stroll for Brazil, but it would certainly change if they were to concede a goal. Careca. Muller. And it's Ostrowski who comes away, and Poland have been penalised. A foul on Alamau. Dadina who's going to strike it. Josimar. Still Josimar, the fullback. Still in possession. Josimar, in his second international, gets his second goal at this World Cup. Dug himself a position and beat the Polish keeper, Winarczyk. Personal triumph this World Cup is turning out. For young 24-year-old Josimar, the right back from Botafogo, who came out here, it was thought as the third choice right back. He got his chance when Edson was injured. He scored against Northern Ireland, and he's done it again against Poland. Edino. Julio Cesar. Elzo dancing forward, and that's given away to Junior. Still Junior. Careca. Junior's footwork taking him past the Polish defenders. The shot was blocked, fell to Careca, who hit it straight at the keeper. Still Boniek. Oh, it was a poor ball to try and find Urban. Josimar. Tarash. Majewski. Jakanovski. Boniek! A little flash of genius from the big new Boniek. The cross from Jakanovski on the right. The overhead scissors kick. Carlos wouldn't have got that if that had been on target. Brazil would have conceded their first goal. And Brazil are about to make a substitution. Well, it's Socrates who'll come off, although he doesn't seem too pleased about that. He's actually going off the field on the far side to where the Brazilian coaches and trainers are. And the man who'll come on for his second appearance in Mexico is Zico. Parashevich. Boniek. Again, the pass back was seen early by Adinho, and that long kick was found to Careca, who's just got one defender in front of him. Is he going to backheel this for Adinho? He is! He's walking in! Because it was his kick from defence that found Careca. But then he must have sprinted 3/4 the length of the field to take the return back heel, cut inside the keeper and the defender, and tuck it inside the post. It's 3-0 to Brazil. And now the samba rhythm beats with renewed vigour. Majewski. spectacular fall. Again, the referee not keeping up with play, waves it on, and this is Careca and Zico brought down by the keeper. Found by Careca, and it's Brazil's second penalty. The ball by Careca, and Zico doesn't look to me there like a man who's running at 100% fitness. So Careca with the opportunity to score Brazil's fourth, which he has, but only just. Careca makes it Brazil 4, Poland 0. And there are 7.5 minutes left to play.
The final score, the Brazilians in unstoppable form. And Zadislav Zamuda of Poland created a little World Cup history of his own today. He came on in the second half of that match, his 21st appearance in World Cup finals, equaling the record of West Germany's Uwe Seeler. Well, Laurie, what about these Brazilians? You saw them live over there, and you've seen them on television today. Well,
I've seen them a couple of times, and they just get better every time, I think. I got the impression that they've always got a gear to step up. They're being compared with a good old team of the 70s, but there isn't a Pele around anymore. And the Socrates, Zico level of fella, they're getting older, obviously, and you can tell that their legs have gone that bit. But there's some bright young fellas coming through. I like the midfield player, Alzo in particular. I like old Julius Caesar at the back. He doesn't look as though he's ever going to get beat. And the fella...
We'll get to it. I'll tell you how to say that in Spanish in a minute.
Right, well, the fella that scored the goals there again, Jasimar, I mean, he's played 2 games and scored 2 cracking goals. And I think that by the time they get through this World Cup, they'll be household names.
He looks a great find, doesn't he? Terry, the interesting thing for me is that the Brazilians actually haven't conceded a goal. I mean, that's most unlike them. In former World Cups, they gave a few away, but they just managed to score more. This time, they haven't given a single goal away.
I think, as Laurie says, they're an outstanding, skillful side. They haven't just got that 10% of quality, what we know about with Rivellino and Gerson and Tostao and these guys. But nevertheless, I don't think any Brazilian side can stand up to their record. They've got 9 goals for and none against, which is superb. So we've got to say that we've got to respect them, and we can only judge them when the competition's finished, when they've won it or when they've gone out. You can't judge people. We're judging those other great teams after seeing the end of the competition.
Yeah, and they all talk about the way they stroll around and whatever, but if you ever stop the picture and look at it, there's always about 6 or 7 of them in the picture, and they work hard to support each other, and their passing is simple because there's always somebody within 10 yards. Well, that doesn't come easily, does it?
Right, let's have a word from each of you about tonight's match then. Argentina and Uruguay. Laurie, how do you see it?
I think Argentina are a better team. Uruguay have had a lot of stick about the physical aspect. I'm very surprised because I saw them the very first day I was out there, and they were like any other football team, having a good laugh, and they were a bunch of decent enough fellas. Their captain was a great character, the goalkeeper, but he hasn't played yet, the big Rodolfo. I think they could have done with him tonight, possibly, but I think it might be anti-climax. Everybody's expecting we should be wearing tin hats and shin pads and everything sitting here.
I think they've been well warned. I mean, they're obviously going to be well warned. They've got to be on their best behaviour. How well they can control it in the heat of the night, we don't know. But I think that I just couldn't tip Uruguay because it just offends me the way they've behaved all the way through.
All right.
But I think that the main thing is that we try and get a good game.
Let's hope it is a great match then, and we'll go live now to the stadium. Our commentators for the match, Jimmy Hill, and first, John Motson.
Well, this latest Battle of the River Plate takes place in a stadium the locals call the Chocolate Box because of its different layers. It soars to the skies, it's steep and intimidating, a fitting arena for the resumption of one of the World Cup's oldest battles. The Argentina team shows one change. Pasculli is in at centre forward in place of Borghi, otherwise the same. Uruguay without both first-choice fullbacks suspended, but Bossio is back after a ban, and they have 2 players there who play in Argentina, and so they know the opposition well. Uruguay in white, Argentina in blue shirts and dark shorts, playing from right to left, and the ball out of play there with Valdano. Old enemies, as you've said, on the football field, but Uruguay playing here under the threat of the FIFA sanctions, even to the point of possibly being expelled from the World Cup if they show that ugly side of their nature again. The number 2 at the back, in front of Alves, is Gutierrez. Number 2 for Argentina there is Batista. Now number 9, Cuciuffo. Santin for Uruguay's number 11. Maradona gets a tackle in. referee, who's the most important man on the pitch at the moment, is Agnolin from Italy, 43 years old, very experienced at taking charge of the hectic derby matches in the Italian First Division. That was a foul by Ruggeri on number 21, Cabrera. Free kick to Uruguay. Santin. Francescoli couldn't get to it. And Diego Maradona breaking. Maradona, for the moment, is being picked up by Barrios. Here's Batista. Number 7, Burruchaga. Valdano. Ruggeri. Maradona, nice turn, into the box. Maradona takes it over the goal line, and there's the first opportunity for Jimmy Hill to have a word.
Just got the breath back from that run by Maradona. There's the acceleration that makes the difference between an ordinary international and somebody who's a tremendous player in any environment. He went by his man beautifully there, full of determination to get to the byline, and he was just a foot out in his judgment. But we can see that he means to impress himself on this game as soon as he can possibly do it.
14 there is Pereira for Uruguay. He's playing partly because of these suspensions. Diogo and Batista are both out of the side because of disciplinary action. Up front, they've got Cabrera playing with Venancio Ramos. That was Cabrera's header. This is Cuciuffo for Argentina. Number 17, Pedro Pasculli, who's come into the side, or back into the side, in preference to Borghi. The England players in their hotel in Mexico City watching this with keen interest, bearing in mind that the winners play England or Paraguay. Number 8 there is Bossio, or Barrios rather, for Uruguay. 21, Cabrera. Argentina haven't been able to play Passarella yet. The reason for that is that he's still injured, so they've kept Ruggeri and Brown at the back. 11, Valdano. Batista. Number 7, Burruchaga. And across goes Eliseo Rivero, number 15, playing only his second international. He's come into the side again because of the others being absent. There he is. Using his left foot to pump it forward. That's Brown. And Pasculli competes with Acevedo, and the rebound finds Maradona. Pasculli is waiting in the centre. Maradona trying to go to the line again, and Pasculli in on the near post. The referee has given a corner, and he was very quick to go up to the number 8, Barrios, and talk to him about dissent. Barrios contested the decision, and the referee gave him a lecture straight away. Pasculli and Valdano are being joined there by Batista and Ruggeri. And the goalkeeper didn't know whether to come or not. The defence was able to cope. Number 19, Venancio Ramos, plays in France. And so too does this man, Burruchaga for Argentina. Many exiles on the pitch. It's a truly international game now, with lots of the South Americans earning their living in Europe. 11, Valdano. And Pasculli to Maradona. Wide to Garre. 3 waiting in the centre for Argentina. The defender's got to make this. It's a corner. Maradona to take it. Brown Maradona's in there too. And well taken by Alves. Did very well to come and claim that. This is Venancio Ramos. Burruchaga. And Maradona got Burruchaga ahead of him. Last time they met 2 years ago, there was a 0-0 draw, and two Uruguayans were sent off in that match as well. So everybody's keen to see just how they play this. That was a foul given against Francescoli. This is Maradona to Burruchaga. Valdano has made a forward run. Pasculli. 13, Garre. And Burruchaga. Safety first by Rivero. Ruggeri can stay forward because Argentina have a free kick. Valdano is also waiting to come in, and Batista's up there. And Maradona curling it, and the goalkeeper did well again. Under challenge, Garre. On an offside flag. This really is another striking World Cup setting at Puebla. They've enlarged the stadium since it was used in 1970. Occasionally drowned by firecrackers, don't be surprised. Here's Batista. Giusti. Burruchaga. Oh, Maradona had made a forward run and they almost headed it through, but the counter-attacking game of Uruguay here. Venancio Ramos. Cabrera's made a run into the centre. And Brown made the first challenge and it ricocheted to Giusti. Batista. Valdano. Burruchaga to Pasculli, who had the shot a moment or two ago. This is Valdano. Giusti came off number 2, Gutierrez. There was a push on him, and he may have collided with one of the photographers, both holding their heads. That's a dangerous situation there, Jimmy, down by the goal line where there are so many cameramen.
It is. In fact, it's the second day running we've seen a player injured by colliding with a cameraman or a camera. They look as if they're murdering each other on the field at times, but get up unscathed, but it is rather more damaging when you collide with metal. Fascinating game, really. There was an indication there of the Uruguayans' carefulness because they actually only attacked with 3 players. There was a wonderful opportunity there for them to push up quickly when Argentina were caught, but they still didn't push more men forward, and in fact the 3 were outnumbered by 6 within a very short space of time. It seems that the caution really from FIFA has affected their game. There seems to be a question of tentativeness about their approach to it, and they are almost as if they accept that the Argentines have got to attack them.
That's certainly the way it started. And Alves has had more to do than Pumpido at the other end, who's hardly touched the ball. That was Batista forward, looking for Maradona. He might get in the gap. He's so quick. Valdano's coming in from the far side. This could be the ball. Valdano! Maradona carved the opening. Valdano, by his standards, that will be a bad miss. He's been quite lethal so far in that position, Valdano, in this World Cup. But on that occasion, to the relief of Uruguay, the header flew wide of the post. But it was all contrived by Maradona, getting in behind the centre-backs. Number 8, Barrios, to Bossio, number 5. Venancio Ramos in the centre. Cabrera's there as well, trying to find Francescoli. And instead it's Valdano for Argentina. Burruchaga, Valdano. And Francescoli sees Ramos out on the left wing and finds him with a raking pass. We've got support coming from midfield from Santin here. Ramos goes again, he's onside. Cabrera's in the middle, so is Francescoli. Ramos, still Ramos, too near the goalkeeper. And immediately the emphasis switches to the other end. Lovely ebb and flow about this South American game. Number 9 here, Cuciuffo. Burruchaga. Foul. And straight away the referee again lectures Gutierrez, and the Argentines have got an advantage here because Uruguay are not going to be allowed to go anywhere near the wrong side of the law. That's clear already. Taken quickly, Garre, but no, the referee still wants to carry on the talk. He's talking to Francescoli now. Ruggeri has gone to join Valdano on the far side of the box for Argentina. And they don't want him to take the free kick, but somebody's doing up his boot. So still they wait. Ruggeri now comes the other side of Valdano. Maradona trying to float it for Valdano.
Probably astonished there by the full 10 yards. I think that's the first time in a football match I've ever seen a full 10-yard block away from the free kick at that point. There is no question that the referee is making it very clear to the Uruguayans that he's not going to stand any kind of nonsense. Not only brutality when opponents are in possession, but the kind of manipulating of the referee which they do so cleverly and putting pressure on them for their decisions. So it does give the game the opportunity to stay alive and for us to see the beauty of this game and not the beastly side of it.
This is Garre. Pasculli's in the centre. And this time the referee is prepared to give Uruguay the advantage.
He was no fool there. He wasn't caught out by that feint at being brought down. I think when you have a problem with your heart, you get a heart surgeon, not an orthopedic surgeon. I think the choice of an Italian referee who would be familiar with these Latin-type tactics was a very good one by FIFA.
Number 14, Giusti. Burruchaga. And Giusti's gone on a forward run here. Pasculli. Francescoli. Francescoli has been playing his club football in Argentina for River Plate, although in case Laurie McMenemy thinks about signing him for Sunderland, he's tied up to go to Paris and play for Racing Club in France next season. Now Cabrera and Venancio Ramos have made their way forward, but the free kick is wasted. I gather the fee's about £2 million, so maybe a bit expensive for our managers. Here's Burruchaga. Maradona. Tried to go on past the number 5 there, Bossio, and Argentina once again have the advantage of a free kick. Maradona looks for Ruggeri on the far side. That's the number 19 who comes up for set plays. Again, lots of activity in the crowd. The Argentines in their familiar blue and white stripes, which the team would normally wear, but a change strip today. Wasn't outside the area, then that'll have to be retaken. So 17 minutes gone in this second round all South American World Cup match. Argentina 0, Uruguay 0. The winners to play England or Paraguay in the quarter-final. Ruggeri. That's Cabrera trying to get round him. Number 2, Batista. Valdano. Burruchaga. Garre. Bossio. Pereira. Pull back. Foul by Giusti. Number 14 on number 14. It's also clear that the referee is going to stamp out the first sign of dissent. And Francescoli penalised. The Uruguay manager, by the way, Omar Borras, had a fraught World Cup. He was ill last week. He was 57 years of age yesterday, but he can't really celebrate his birthday. He's not even allowed on the bench this afternoon as part of the FIFA sanctions taken against his team. He's got to sit in the stand. Burruchaga for Argentina. Maradona's on a run. Bossio couldn't reach it. Francescoli. Brown for Argentina. Cuciuffo. Ruggeri. Giusti. Second to that, without a doubt. The man marking him, the number 8 Barrios, the captain, got to the ball very quickly. Ramos. Santin. Cabrera. Francescoli is waiting in the centre, but Brown should cut that out. Only at the expense of a corner, though.
And once again in that attack, they only pushed up 5 men. 5 of them stayed marking one at the back. The nature of the Uruguayan's approach to it.
Well, Gutierrez and Pereira have gone forward into the penalty area now for this corner. Gutierrez goes near post. Pereira comes in with the header. But I think the referee said he was holding his man down. Burruchaga. 20 minutes gone, no score. Batista. Burruchaga looks for Pasculli. Foul given against Acevedo. Free kick to Argentina about 30 yards out from goal. Being placed by Pasculli. Maradona now takes over, and he's looking to perhaps line something up. And that was Maradona. Goodness me. Came back off the bar, I think. Here he is again. Maradona producing a stunning moment from the free kick. Curled, swerved and driven, and it crashed against the bar. Here he is again. Garre. Santine, number 11. It's a good run by Santine. Francescoli's to his right. Free kick against Giusti. Number 8 here, Barrios. Well, I wonder if that Maradona effort will sting Uruguay into some kind of reaction. They've got a free kick themselves here. Not in such a good position, admittedly. Francescoli in the penalty area. Pereira has gone there as well. Ramos to take. The flag was up anyway for offside. The Argentines came out. But a taste there of Diego Maradona, Jimmy.
Indeed, and I was just thinking, if I were sitting with the England players at the moment, supposing that they get through against Paraguay, which team I'd rather play. And I think there's no question about it that as an English supporter, I want Uruguay to fluke this match because they don't carry the lethal danger of Maradona and Valdano up front. There's no question about that. Argentina should win it on what we've seen so far.
Well, we've seen 23 minutes. We haven't had a goal, but Uruguay now are on the attack. 14 is Pereira. Number 5, Bossio. Little tangle between Cuciuffo and Francescoli, and it gives Uruguay a free kick. They're not risking too many men forward even now. Cabrera's on the edge of the penalty area. Pereira has gone to join him. Those are the only two in central positions, actually. Francescoli. For Cabrera, he's forced a corner. Cabrera is now in the 6-yard box. Gutierrez has gone forward. They've got Pereira in there as well. Cabrera outnumbered. Here's Bossio. Ramos, Pasculli, and Garre. Maradona, number 15 there, the newcomer Rivero. Francescoli being marked by Cuciuffo, and I think there's a reason for that I'll explain in a minute. Rivero. Santine. That's a free kick to Uruguay. It was Santine who was fouled by Giusti. And the Uruguayans probably saying to the referee, well, are you going to be as fierce with them as you appear to be with us? But the match is being played in that kind of climate after all that's happened to Uruguay in the last few days. 15. Rivero takes the free kick. Cabrera. The man-to-man marking that I was referring to, Francescoli plays, or has played this season for River Plate in Argentina. So they know all about him, and Cuciuffo has, I gather, marked him when they played his club Vélez Sarsfield, so maybe they thought he was the man for the job. 19, Ruggeri. It's a good run, actually. Pasculli's just inside him, and it was cut out by Pereira. Ruggeri now to Burruchaga. Pasculli waiting in the centre. Valdano coming in. Maradona fouled by his marker Barrios. And the arguments start around the referee. He's made his mind up quite clearly. It's a free kick to Argentina. And Francescoli and company might as well just back off, because Maradona caught it in the face, although it didn't seem to me to be terribly deliberate. Now Maradona's hit the bar once. He's got a central position here. He's walked back again. He's saying, let's have the full 10 yards, is the Italian referee, Agnolin. Little piece of theatre in itself here, because Maradona is the only man now near the ball. He's lining it up. And strikes again, this time a bit too high.
The referee has done so well so far. He should remember that he's got two sides on the field, whatever the Uruguayans have done in the past, but he's also been very careful not to be persuaded that mischief has taken place when it hasn't, as in that case, in that foul. Uruguayans and the Argentines arguing that he should pull out yellow cards, but he knew there was no mischief there, which is also part of a referee's responsibility, not only to punish it when it happens, but to allow the play to flow and not give players yellow cards for normal tackles.
Cuciuffo clears. 28 minutes gone here in Puebla. It's Argentina 0, Uruguay 0 in this meeting of the rivals from opposite sides of the River Plate. Maradona, Burruchaga, Pasculli, now Batista, on again to Garre. Valdano's come short. And there was plenty of movement up front there by Argentina, and Uruguay had to pull everybody back into their own half. Batista, Cuciuffo, little back heel, tries to find Maradona. Acevedo is the defender. Goal kick. To mention too that George Courtney, the English referee in these World Cup finals, is on the line today.
I thought we got an English groundsman as well, John, because the curved cutting of the grass reminiscent of Stoke City, Luton and Coventry, if you remember.
Absolutely. Here's Maradona, Valdano. Uruguay trying to cut down the angles. This is Pereira. Got a welcoming cheer from the Uruguay supporters, although there are apparently far more here from Argentina. Much bigger country, of course. Here's Burruchaga. It's amazing that a country as small as Uruguay won the World Cup twice in its early years. 1930 and 1950. Here's number 8, Barrios. Well, that's a bit wild. That was Garre on Francescoli. There's half an hour gone. No score. Sudden death, remember, at this stage of the World Cup. Extra time and penalties if nothing happens in 90 minutes. Francescoli. Oh, that's good. Another free kick, and the referee has gone to his pocket, and that's a yellow card. Garre. So the first yellow card goes to Argentina, and I believe that's a suspension. I believe that's Garre's second yellow card of the tournament, and if it is, and it's confirmed, then he will miss the quarter-final, which could be against England. It's a free kick to Uruguay. Cabrera is in the middle. So is Ramos and Francescoli. It's aimed at Ramos. Batista with the header. I think Garre got the yellow card. It was two offences, one after the other there on Francescoli, and the referee, when the repetition occurred, cautioned him. Here he is now, the number 13, and Cabrera charges into him. It looks as though Garre is ruled out of the quarter-finals. Santin, he got the ball away from Maradona. This could be a break for Uruguay. Cabrera, the centre-forward, is in the right-back position, but Ramos has gone on ahead. This is Barrios. Barrios to Ramos. Outside him, Bossio. Cabrera's made a forward run now. This is Santin with the shot. And the first real save that Nery Pumpido has had to make. With 33 minutes gone. Batista. Pasculli. Good intercept. Oh no, put up. Herrera holds his head at the decision, but can't afford to argue. So Argentina get moving again with Batista. Burruchaga. Giusti trying to help it on. Maradona. Well, he was surrounded by three white shirts, couldn't find a way through. So Uruguay able to come away with Barrios. Valdano. Maradona's in there again. This time he's fouled by Pereira.
What he showed in that little tussle was that he's a forward who can win tackles. The strength in those legs, he doesn't mind taking on defenders because he knows if he can win a tackle, he's in a very advantageous position to use the rest of his skill like now. Look at that.
The 14's got to be a bit careful, Pereira. He's given away 3 free kicks in a matter of minutes, including that one. Ruggeri has gone up to join Valdano. Pasculli with the shot this time.
Nothing really untoward in the game so far. Nothing you'd expect to find in any World Cup game. But it should be pointed out, I suppose, that no blood has been spilt yet. The score is still 0-0. Both teams a little frightened of each other, both with very strong defences. You can see now how Scotland had such difficulty in breaking down even a 10-man Uruguayan defence. They're very skillful defenders.
Here's Burruchaga trying to break them down. Maradona's on the left wing. It's Valdano to Maradona. Pasculli's in the centre. Burruchaga's coming in and well taken by Alves. Beautifully taken. Look at the distribution immediately out to Venancio Ramos on the left wing. Good challenge by Batista. Looks for Valdano. Gutierrez with the header. Ramos. Francescoli. Ramos goes again. It's Brown in the way. And then Garre was fouled, and that's a yellow card, Francescoli. Francescoli shown the yellow card for the foul on Garre. So both those players now are on a caution. I'm not quite sure whether that would have been a yellow card offence in the normal way, Jimmy, but I think the threat hovering like the sword of Damocles over these Uruguayan players is one that the referee's determined to carry out.
Well, it makes it so difficult. I think we all like to see fair play, but there's no question that wasn't the sort of brutal kicking of the back of the legs that we saw in the Scottish match, which without any doubt deserved yellow cards and red cards. It was an attempt to get the ball. Football is not a game for girls, and it's so difficult for referees to distinguish between a genuine attempt to get the ball which just fails and calculated kicking.
Cuciuffo. That was Valdano. And now Ramos with a little break. Tried to turn inside Batista. Cabrera's gone to the left wing. He's cutting inside now. Still Ramos. Cabrera looked for the return to Ramos. And Giusti checked by Rivero. But Argentina have possession, or they did have. Came back off Burruchaga. Now Ramos. Two Uruguayans waiting in the middle for the cross. Ramos. Cabrera went for the diving header. Maradona picked up the pieces. Batista. Rossio not sure of his clearance and then collides with Pasculli. Free kick to Uruguay. 37 minutes gone. No score between these powerful South American nations. Francescoli's not getting very much space. Here's Maradona. He's not either, really. But it was Valdano before him who actually was fouled. Here's Garre. Maradona. Pasculli didn't run for him. Or for that matter for Burruchaga. Corner to Argentina. It's been taken quickly. Burruchaga and Ruggeri. The number 19 was up for the set play, and from Burruchaga's cross, he heads over the bar. Wouldn't have mattered because there was a player in the centre who was flagged offside by the other linesman, who is Silva Valente of Portugal.
I know which goalkeeper I'd rather play against in any knockout round, and it's not that one, Alves. He's impressed me immensely for the way in which he comes off that line like lightning to catch any high ball. And the other lad looks just that little bit shaky at the other end.
Well, bear in mind that Alves is the reserve. As Laurie McMenemy was saying, big Rodolfo Rodriguez ruled out of this championship so far by a stomach muscle injury. In fact, he showed us the extent of that, I remember, in one of our earlier preview items. Here's Garre. Brown. 5 minutes left in the first half here in Puebla. No score. But can Maradona do something here? Valdano's in the middle. So is Pasculli, and Gutierrez took it away from his goalkeeper. It's a corner to Argentina. Brown and Ruggeri are in there again. Ruggeri is heading from the back. Natty Starling goalkeeper's jumpers there as well from Alves. Number 10, Francescoli. 14 for Argentina, Giusti. Now Barrios, Santin, Barrios. Forward by Bossio. Here's Burruchaga. Giusti to Ruggeri. Burruchaga going down the right wing. Pereira's with him. Giusti. Maradona. Still Maradona. Batista. And Burruchaga. Two in the middle. Valdano couldn't get it. Pasculli! 1-0 Argentina. Pedro Pasculli. 3 minutes before half-time. Argentina in the lead. And when the chance came, Pasculli put it away from about 8 yards. Brought back into the side today in preference to Borghi, and he makes his mark. It actually came to him off a defender last, Acevedo, I think. But chances like that in the World Cup are snapped up by top-class strikers, and Pasculli wasn't messing about. Argentina 1, Uruguay 0. So, the Uruguayans, the team under the FIFA threat, find themselves a goal behind in the closing minutes of the first half here in Puebla. And if my mathematics is right, that's the 98th goal of these World Cup finals. So somebody, today or tomorrow, is going to get number 100. Garre. Men in the penalty area there, Argentina. So when there was a little rebound, there was someone there to snap it up. And that's been the pattern of the first half. They've got more men forward than Uruguay have. Batista. Burruchaga. Burruchaga again. Free kick against Barrios. And they've got away with nothing here. This Italian referee, Agnolin, has really stamped down the way that the FIFA officials, that's Borash there at the back, the balding figure on the back row, banned from the bench and having to take that back seat in one of the boxes, is side or a goal down, and they're not being given any license by the referee whatsoever. Cuciuffo. Maradona falls to the left. Oh. Cabrera. Foul by Garre. He's got to be very careful. Just coming up to half-time here in Puebla. (1-0 to the Argentines, 14 Pereira to 15 Rivero for Uruguay. Ramos trying to get some space down the left wing. Gutierrez. Well, Cabrera and Francescoli trying to find a way. And Cabrera coming in behind Francescoli. And that was possibly the best chance for Uruguay. The number 21, Cabrera, had the shot, although Francescoli was the man who unsettled the defence. Don't worry about the caption, it was number 21 who had the strike. And that might well have been an equaliser in stoppage time at the end of the first half, which Agnolin from Italy is prepared to add on, unlike some referees. There we are, just a few seconds into it. Now Ramos, was the ball out? Apparently not. Cabrera in the centre. And it comes off Ruggeri for a corner, which they're obviously in a hurry to take. Ramos to swing it in. They're all up there this time. And here's Santine with the drive. It hit Pasculli, the goal scorer, who was then defending and went out for a corner on the far side. Cabrera in at the near post. Giusti, a very good defending header. And that is half-time. A minute of overtime played, which is just about right. So, Argentina end the half on the defensive, but the flags are waving because they are actually in the lead. The goal scored by Pasculli after 42 minutes, and the match at the moment, Jimmy Hill, going the way that you felt it might.
Well, it wasn't difficult to see that Argentina were throwing men forward, and it was difficult to appreciate how Uruguay expect to win a game, really. They have a splendid defence, they don't take any chances, but of course, being 1-0 down now, they've got to change their tactics in the second half, and they've got to throw men forward, which should make it a more interesting open game for those of us who like to see that kind of game on our television screens. Maradona, it's always a pleasure and always worth the money, I think, to see him play. He's such an exceptional player, such strong legs, and so fast when he actually decides to make the break. That's always a threat to any side that plays against him. And really, for the Uruguayans, the man who's impressed me more than any else, the goalkeeper, Alves, who I think is superb. He comes out and catches high balls. If Bruce Grobbelaar will forgive me, he's like Grobbelaar with two hands. But anyway, they're a couple of the stars that have taken my eye. I think it must liven up in the second half because Uruguay have got to go for that goal.
Indeed they have, and so the scene in Puebla, colourful one. You'll be back with us for the second half, but in the meantime, it's back to Desmond with a half-time score of Argentina 1, Uruguay 0.
Thank you, John. Well, the Uruguayans had their moments right at the end of that first half there, but Argentina did the business, although your man Valdano, I mean, you're a great fan of Valdano, Terry, aren't you? But he had that early miss, didn't he?
Well, that's not like him. I mean, that's just what he's there for. He's terrific in the air. I mean, he's come to, and he is fearless. He showed that part of his game. He was prepared to get through into the penalty area, very, very fast. But the actual execution of the finish was really, really poor. I just can't believe it.
And the ball from Maradona was absolutely perfect.
Excellent.
For him, wasn't it?
He'll be really disappointed with that, and quite rightly so. They call him the salmon, you know.
Yes.
Really?
Not because he's good in the air, because he always ends in the net.
He was in the pink.
And what about the free kick from Maradona shortly after that? I mean, that was a fairly speculative effort.
It was a speculative effort, but you've always got to be worried with people like him, Platini, and Hoddle, and he has got great strength. Where Platini's got a lovely range of bending shots, he's got great strength from distances, and that doesn't surprise you to see him hit a shot like that.
But absolutely right that the Argentinians are in the lead, I think. I mean, they certainly had the better of the first half.
Well, yeah, we always thought they would be the better team, but it's been a poor first half, actually. It needed a goal and would have been much better if the first chance had gone in from Valdano. But they've got the goal, and now, because it's sudden death, Uruguayans have got to try and do something about it. And this is the goal. It really didn't look as though it was going to happen, but it's come off a defender, and the fella stuck it away. He couldn't believe he's looked that it came to him.
That's right.
Because it didn't come from a pass, did it? It came,
it was an error, yeah.
It came out of nothing, and I think it's possibly woken everybody up a bit. All the brutal fouls that they are. Oops, he didn't mean that, did he?
No, I think in actual fact, Argentina have benefited where Scotland have suffered. I'm sure Scotland would like to have played them the way they're playing tonight. They're holding off, and they're, as I said earlier, they've been well warned about their behaviour. And of course, it's almost like a friendly match in some aspects, isn't it?
They're very wary of each other. It's sort of handbag stuff at the moment, but I don't think any of us want them to start getting very physical, but they've possibly changed their natural game and, got things on their mind. Well, no, they've just got to get out and play.
The goal might make a difference. Perhaps we'll see the real...
They're sort of intimidated by their lack of intimidation, aren't they, the Uruguayans?
The thing with Maradona, the point Terry was making is very valid. He can place the ball, but it doesn't have to be a set piece either. I mean, the chance he made, he had a defender putting pressure on him in the box, and yet he still had that time and that composure to be able to pick him out, and that's the difference with the great players. Yeah. And looking at Boniek in the earlier game, I wonder if the pair of them are probably too good for the teams that they're in. They wish that they had better players around them sometimes.
Well, I certainly think Boniek's, I mean, he's really, I mean, apart from that bicycle kick that we saw earlier, which was fantastic. That was brilliant, that was. He's looked really disappointed and bored with it all right from the beginning, as if he's surrounded by great players in Rome.
That's right.
And really he's missing all that, and he thinks it's all a bit beneath him. I really am disappointed in him so far in this World Cup.
The interesting thing about tonight's match is that England will play the winners of this, supposing they get past Paraguay. I think Jimmy Hill said he'd like Uruguay to fluke it, I think was the word he used, so that we could play them rather than Argentina. How do you feel about it?
Well, on this performance, I don't think, and the way England played in the last game, they shouldn't worry about either team. But I think you shouldn't be kidded by one performance like this, because whoever wins, they will know that they've got a different type of opposition. And I just think the South Americans have always got that little bit up their sleeve. Having said that, I don't think Argentina have got as many good players in their team as, for instance, Brazil have.
Right. Well, of course, England play their next match on Wednesday against Paraguay, and they play in the Azteca Stadium for the first time, and they've been doing a spot of training in that stadium, on that pitch today, and Laurie was saying to me just now that he's been there, and the pitch there is a little bit spongy, so it needs a bit of getting used to. And they've of course been getting used to a bit of altitude as well there, having gone up a good few thousand feet. Brian Robson, of course, a lot of people are suggesting that he might play in the heart of the defence instead of Fenwick, and Peter Shilton seems to have recovered from his injury. But it's not the condition of the players that's made the news so much as the condition of their hotel.
Yes, it's not a big story at all. It made logic and common sense to try the hotel that we were in, because it was 7 minutes from our training ground. And having endured long journeys down to Monterey daily, the players naturally were trying to get out of that situation. And I was obviously trying to relieve them of that problem. It wasn't a big problem, but obviously an hour and a quarter every day and an hour and a quarter back, you know, was a bit out of the day, wasn't it? And it's all right for a little while, but I wouldn't like to travel an hour and a quarter every day.
So now you're going to go to a different place?
What the players will have to be put up with, of course, we've moved out because of noise, just pure noise. The hotel was all right, they loved us, and they tried very hard to supply us with the right accommodation. What they can't do is change the noise. They can't stop the traffic in the early mornings. And on that basis, only we've decided to move the hotel, you know, for the benefit of the players. Not all the players, because many of them have slept quite well. Some haven't.
Well, England have now moved to a new hotel near the airport so they can concentrate, one hopes, on the Paraguayans.
They played very sporting, very technical players, got it forward, quite attractive side to watch. No cynicism in their play, no roughness, no toughness. Played it straight, played it sensibly, you know, played to the laws of the game. Played football. I was told way back in February by a South American journalist actually who came to me in London in the Football Association and said, Mr. Robson, he said, take it from me, he said, it could well be that the best South American team in the tournament could be Paraguay. I sort of raised my eyebrows at that, but he said, well, you please yourself, but I'm telling you, they have got some good players. And he said they've qualified and they will make a show in the World Cup.
Well, the England squad haven't actually moved into the new hotel yet. They're still putting up with things, I think, in Fawlty Towers, wherever they are. Anyway, Kevin Manuel Cosgrove is with them, so we can get a few comments from them on that first half that we've just seen. Kevin?
Yes, Des, I'm here. We're in room 815 and we'll be leaving here in about an hour, I would have thought. But we're all watching the game. Brian, you've watched the first half. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's typical of the game that you were going to see. The two teams are playing it quite safe, especially the Uruguayans. And Argentina just trying to force the game a bit, and I think they deserve the half-time lead.
You've been quite critical of the Uruguayans while we've been watching it, haven't you?
Not too critical. But no, I just think the way they set the stall out right from the beginning, and they got everybody back behind the ball. They haven't really tried to even break out fast at the Argentinians, and that's why, in a way, it's good for football that Argentina are winning at the moment. I hope they go on to win the game.
Now, there is press speculation at home that you could play in the game against Paraguay and that you might play in the defensive role that's been created by Terry Fenwick's suspension. What's the possibility of that?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but obviously my position is that I've told the boss that I'm fit to play, and obviously there's a risk with my shoulder. Now, if the boss thinks that he wants me in his selection, well then, you know, I will play. And whether it's at the back or whether it's in midfield, I'm prepared to play for the team.
You're always somebody who wants to play at every opportunity, aren't you?
Well, I think everybody in the squad would love to be in the team. But obviously, if I didn't think I could do the team a bit of a job, and the shoulder was going to affect me too much, well then I wouldn't say that I could do.
Well, Trevor Brooking's with us as well, and I know you've got some points that you'd like to raise about the first half we've just seen with the lads.
Well, no, I mean, I thought it was a very, thinking of back home, if you got an English group of supporters watching it, I think after 5 or 10 minutes it'd have been on the lads' backs, wouldn't you? I mean, you wouldn't have been able to get away playing like that first 45 minutes.
No, not in England. I mean, you do a walkout watching that. I mean, to be fair, the Argentinians have had a goal, but there's only been 3 chances. I mean, to Argentina. That's the one Maradona at the bar as well. And they deserve to be in front, but I really haven't enjoyed it.
A lot of people have been talking about the pitches over here, long grass and all that. I know you went on the Azteca today. How did you find that? Because it looked pretty bumpy, to say the least, when Mexico were playing yesterday. Big Butch, what do you think?
Well, with my 15 stone floundered about it, then I found it a bit tough. The legs were giving way as normal, so that's not too bad. It's a very, you know, obviously a nice stadium. It's not got the same pitch as Wembley's got anyway. You know, Wembley's far superior pitch-wise and possibly stadium-wise. But
what about somebody like Trevor who has to carry the ball?
Well, as you say, we've been on it today for an hour. I think we've had a few dodgy pitches actually in the few games that we have played out here, but it's such a magnificent stadium, the Aztec Stadium. I think the atmosphere of the game will just carry us along.
Terry, your impressions of the first half, because if you beat Paraguay and if Argentina keep winning against Uruguay, you're going to have to face Diego Maradona.
if selected, of course. Well, we just take one match at a time. We just, you know, concentrate on the Paraguayan game, but it would be nice to play against the Argentinians, especially Maradona. It'd be nice to keep a clean sheet against him like we did the Poles, so hopefully we can get the same result.
What do you have to do when you're playing against somebody of that quality, like Diego Maradona? What is the best way to defend against him?
Well, I would say kicking, but I've read out the booking, so if I know the one, what if you... The best thing really is just to pick him up on his runs, really. I mean, like with Boniek, I just stayed in the hole and got his runs and generally just cancel out his space, so hopefully we can do that.
Well, talking about cancelling space, we're about to cancel the space in here. Back to you, Desmond, because we've got to go and pack our bags.
All right, but I don't blame you. I couldn't see too much wrong with that hotel room.
No, I don't think they'll ever escape there, and that wouldn't all...
That was a sweet, that.
That was terrific, though, wasn't it?
OK, let's go back to the Puebla Stadium then. The second half about to commence. And let's rejoin Jimmy Hill and John Motson.
Thank you. I think probably noise is going to be a perennial difficulty everywhere you go in Mexico City, Jimmy. I mean, when Mexico win a game like yesterday, wherever you are, you've got to put up with celebrations going on all night, as we've heard at our hotel.
Indeed, but it was an experience I shan't forget for the rest of my life, coming back 2.5 hours to make 5 miles in the car we were in. In fact, it was a van, it wasn't a car, but the enthusiasm of the Mexican people really had to be seen to be believed. They were well behaved, there was no trouble, they were just happy. And we had an extraordinary incident with a policeman on a motorbike who actually got our van backwards onto a motorway because it was flowing better there, and having done it, took his hands off the handlebars at about 40 miles an hour, leaned back and gave us a salute, no hands. I can't imagine that happening in any other country in the world, but it really was wonderful to be part and share in Mexico's joy. And hopefully they'll produce a few more miracles on the field, but the problem we have at the moment is to pick out the winners of this game, John.
Interesting little handshake there between Valdano and the linesman as they get ready for the second half. It wasn't George Courtney, it was the Portuguese linesman. And Uruguay then in the white strip, 1 goal behind. Doesn't look as though either side have put a substitute on at the beginning of the second half. And this battle between the two South American giants, with the third, Brazil, already through, as you've seen earlier, resumes here in Puebla in one of the most imposing stadiums I think I've ever seen in my life. We're several thousand feet up here anyway at altitude, over 7,000 Puebla, but I think there's another 1,000 feet to take into account our commentary position, which is looking right down on the pitch as if it was a huge drum. Anyway, here's number 9 for Uruguay, Da Silva, and I think indeed he may have come on at half-time. I think they have made a switch, Uruguay. It looks as though Da Silva has gone up front in place of Cabrera, but we'll confirm that when the play develops. Rivero just passing the ball back. Maradona, but he couldn't get away. Free kick to Uruguay, and I'm right about that. There is Da Silva, just been picked up, and he's replaced Cabrera in the attack. Da Silva, who plays for Atletico Madrid and was quite instrumental in their Cup Winners' Cup victory over Celtic last season. Batista. Da Silva. He's also on one yellow card in the competition, as indeed was the man who he replaced, Cabrera. So there are going to be a lot of players, if they're not careful, who finish up with suspensions. But for the time being, it's a free kick to Uruguay. Ramos is in there, Bossio is up. And so is Gutierrez. And Bossio has made a run here into space to flick the ball on. Away by Brown. Rivero. Francescoli. Couldn't find a way through. And Argentina able to break with Giusti, and now with Maradona. Oh, he hurdled the defender, Acevedo. And Pasculli's trying to get into the centre, and Maradona has gone all the way, and Pasculli couldn't make contact. What a run by Maradona. And Pasculli couldn't quite get there. Maradona beat everybody, including the goalkeeper, who he pushed the ball beyond. But Pasculli, in sliding in there, has got injured.
And that is why I'd rather Uruguay got through.
A thrilling run by Maradona at the beginning of the second half. Pasculli's back on his feet now. That's a foul by Batista on Santin. Free kick to Uruguay. Ramos. Well, if Pasculli had got to that ball and made it 2-0, then one would have strongly fancied Argentina to go on unimpeded into the quarter-finals. As it is, Uruguay still in the match as some rather dark clouds gather away to our left above the mountains. The temperature has dropped. It's now rather like a Saturday afternoon in England here. Here's offside surely on the far side. It was Burruchaga trying to get Garre in. But that won't detract from either the altitude or the humidity, which are still a problem even when it gets a little bit cooler. These countries, though, should be rather more used to it than the Europeans. This is Batista for Argentina. Oh, he's sold it short, and Rivero came in, and that's going to be a free kick. And one of the Uruguayans went to the referee and asked him, I would imagine, to caution the player concerned, and got warned himself. But It may be that the referee is going to show the yellow card anyway, and he is to Brown. Number 5, Jose Luis Brown, is cautioned for that foul. So we've got another player on a yellow card.
And in my view there, Brown knew what he was doing. He knew that he was beaten, and he brought the player down intentionally. And so did the referee know it too.
Now, we've seen what Maradona can do from a free kick. I wonder if we're going to have part of Francescoli's repertoire here. There's the wall. He's placing the ball as Pumpido guards his goal, some 25 yards out. This is Francescoli. And he does try one, and Pumpido dropped it. They couldn't quite get Santini on the rebound quickly enough, otherwise it could well have been the equaliser. Had to use the men in front of him. It's Ramos with the corner. Pereira coming in, and that's much better goalkeeping. It was as if he was determined to make up for it. The drums go on beating in the crowd. It's a carnival, a football match here. Still Argentina 1, Uruguay 0, 6 minutes into the second half. Brown. Garre. Batista. Maradona. Garre. Let's run on to Giusti. There was a flag up there anyway for offside. Giusti, who played for Independiente against Liverpool in the World Club Championship in Tokyo a couple of years ago. Here's Santini. Now Ruggeri, won back by Rivero for Uruguay. And the break here by Giusti finds Maradona. Oh, lovely touch. And he's got Pasculli away on the left wing. Still Maradona. There's Pasculli. Argentina have the advantage. Pasculli comes clear. Burruchaga must surely off the line. He should have scored. He should have put it away, really, Burruchaga. But the defender on the line gets the ball out and keeps Uruguay in the match. I think it may have been Acevedo. Yes, number 3 it was. He was the man who gave the goal away, so he somehow put the record straight by clearing off the line from Burruchaga. But it was Pasculli who was fouled there who made the chance. So in these first 8 minutes of the second half, twice Argentina have got down to the dead ball line and threatened to score the second goal. This is Batista. And now Giusti. On by Batista. Play on, says the Italian referee, who's got full marks so far. Here's Cuciuffo. Maradona pulled away beautifully there. He's got 2 in the middle. One of them is Valdano, and Gutierrez brings a save out of his own goalkeeper. But Maradona all the time is the threat here, swinging in those crosses. Santini, and here he is again, and just offside.
This is the inevitable result of Uruguay pushing up more men and giving Argentina the chance to counter-attack as they've done so well on those 3 occasions. Really breathtaking pace, not only from Maradona, but Pasculli there, getting to the byline, creating danger and doing everything but score.
It's won by Batista, who's a very strong anchorman in the Argentine midfield. Won't have escaped the notice of future opponents who may be watching. This is Burruchaga. And Maradona is finding more and more space by pulling out really wide. He'll get the free kick. He's played almost like a winger a couple of times early in this second half. And got the treatment. So a free kick to Argentina. Ruggeri has come forward for a possible header. Garre is in there too. Maradona swings it, Ruggeri is in there. The drive by Giusti, and the rebound finds Ramos. Maradona still got a foot in and half won it back. Burruchaga, Brown. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Argentina lead. But here's Da Silva for Uruguay, Santin. And it was Pasculli and Pereira who missed out, really. Through ball is offside against Maradona. Number 14, Pereira, really lost possession there for Uruguay. But here's Bossio. And they're giving it away, and this is Garre on the break. Maradona's in the middle. So is Valdano here. Neither of them went forward very quickly there for some reason. And it's given Gutierrez the chance to put Ramos away. And we've got two players in the centre here, Pasculli and Da Silva. It's a disappointing cross from Venancio Ramos. Still, it is a fast and open game now. Much enjoyed by the crowd here in Puebla. Burruchaga. Batista. Maradona. Oh. Well, he's got pulled down by Barrios. One or two of these Uruguayan defenders are obviously listening to Terry Butcher at half-time. Maradona's now on the ground, and on a serious note, one has to wonder each time he does go down about that knee injury, which has not been making the headlines as much as Zico's, but nevertheless is always a perpetual concern for the people in the Argentine camp, because it was said that one more bad blow on the knee, Jimmy, could have serious repercussions.
Yes, but when I've seen him go into tackles this afternoon, there's been no worry. He's gone in really fiercely, tackling against defenders, and that's going to test knees as much as anything. What I love to see there was the Argentine goalkeeper actually play the ball out quickly. Although they're 1-0 down, he didn't bother to pick it up. He just side foot passed it out to keep the play going.
That's been good in this World Cup, actually. There hasn't been very much time wasting, and there hasn't been very much back passing to the goalkeeper either. Pasculli and Valdano are waiting on the edge of the penalty area here for the free kick. Taken, offside anyway. Taken by Ruggeri, but the flag was up.
92 teams next season, please note.
Yes, it really is a pleasure to see football played with everybody keen to get the ball forward and not wanting to use delaying tactics. And nobody pressing up and playing offsides either, which is a nice change from some of the stuff we see at home occasionally. This is Gutierrez. Da Silva for Uruguay. They can't seem to make too much progress going forward for the moment, and that's a heavy one from Acevedo. And Acevedo is going to get the yellow card, the number 3. He was sent off against Argentina the last time they met, and he's now got the yellow card. So don't forget, there are 4 players in this match now who've got a yellow card today. Garre, Pasculli, Brown and Acevedo. Any one of them could now be sent off.
And that was a yellow card offence, if ever there was one. He had no intention of going for the ball at any stage. He reverted to character, and that was an easy one for the referee to spot and pick up. And I'm just wondering whether he might be a possible final referee on his performance today, John, and be praying or not knowing what to think if Italy progress a little farther and get near the final themselves.
Burruchaga through to Maradona. He's clear and he's onside. Maradona for Argentina. Good save by Alves. Keeps his team in the match. They split the defence there. Burruchaga's was the through ball. Garre to foul earlier by Batista. Just on that note of referees, Jimmy, Al-Sharif from Syria, the man appointed to take charge of the England-Paraguay game, and FIFA are monitoring every refereeing performance in great detail so that they get the right men for the later matches when we get down to the semi-finals and the final. Uruguay now with Santi, and a substitution, their second, and we're going to see Ruben Paz come on. I think this is his first appearance in this series. The number 18 of Uruguay. They're going to take a defender off, and I think the reason for this partly is that Acevedo is on a yellow card. They're a goal behind anyway, so a defender gets replaced by a forward. I can recall Ruben Paz being one of the stars of the Gold Cup tournament out in Montevideo in 1981 when I saw Uruguay beat Brazil in the final, and he's now on the pitch to try and help them save this match against Argentina. They've used both their subs now. Santin. No play on, said the referee. Or did he? The linesman then flagged. And Paz actually has gone across to collect the ball. And Ramos is going to take the free kick for Uruguay. They've got Gutierrez in there, number 2. They've got Pereira up. Cleared, and offside as the ball came back in.
Argentine defence came out very quickly there and caught the forward off. Interesting talking about offside. There isn't an excessive amount of it in the World Cup, and of course when we at home get rather fed up with it, tend to say, well, why aren't the laws changed? The rest of the world can't really understand what all the fuss is about, because it's not as annoying to them because they don't get as many offside decisions in a game. And that is the difficulty. Those of you who write so often saying, why can't we change the offside law? FIFA really doesn't understand what we're talking about.
Okay, Argentina lead Uruguay by 1-0. Uruguay have used both their permitted substitutes now. We're 18 minutes into the second half. Here's one of them, Paz. Uruguay very quick to the ball in interceptions. This is Rivero, though. Tries to get it in behind Ruggeri, but he was fouled, Ruggeri, by Da Silva.
I understand that Albert, our statistician's housekeeping money, is on the Uruguayans, and his heart must have been in his mouth in the early stages of this second half, because really they should have been killed off. It's miraculous that they've stayed in the game, and maybe there's a little forewarning there that there's life and hope from them yet, and we're in for a surprise before the match finishes.
Well, after what happened between the Soviet Union and Belgium yesterday, you can take nothing for granted in this World Cup, that's for sure. The 14, Giusti, just playing around with Pumpido, who kicks long, looking for Jorge Valdano, and Pasculli's closing in here on Pereira, who finds Rivero. Indeed, Uruguay had the opportunity to kill Uruguay off in the opening minutes of this second half and couldn't quite manage it. Argentina had 2 good chances, one carved out by Maradona, the other by Pasculli, and couldn't put the second goal away. Here's Paz. Challenge was by Ruggeri and then Burruchaga, and Paz has gone to the line. That was a good run by the substitute. He's an explosive dribbler. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Mr. Boras at the back is using a walkie-talkie to get his instructions out. Slightly more mobile perhaps than the telephone in some of the directors' boxes in England, but whether he can make himself heard, I'm not quite sure. The crowd is so noisy. And Pasculli was looking for the free kick and the referee didn't buy it. Here he is again. They've got Bossio forward there in the centre. They'll take a chance or two now, the Uruguayans. Here's Rivero. Santin, Paz. That was Bossio. And here's Maradona. And he's going on a run himself. Oh, and he's found Valdano. This could be 2 against 1 Argentina. Valdano's through. And Maradona's closing in to finish it. No, foot up. Foot up, no goal. And 2 Argentines go to the referee and say why. But it's been wiped out for either a push or an unfair challenge. Diego Maradona prays to the skies, but the goal does not stand. The referee made a gesture with both foot and hand. So a foul, one would imagine, by Maradona as he beat that defender to put the ball in the net. And I think it was foot up, but we haven't had the benefit of a replay to decide where... Oh, we have now, here we go. Valdano puts the ball in off the keeper's hand, and yes, Maradona's foot caught the defender, and the referee penalised him. So the score remains 1-0, and they still can't finish off Uruguay. Bossio. Now Giusti for Argentina, and Maradona again. They've got 2 runners this time. Number 7, Burruchaga. In the middle, Valdano and Pasculli. Burruchaga's cross. Valdano coming in. Actually, that got a deflection because the referee has awarded a corner. Valdano, as Terry Venables was saying, usually deadly in the air, but that wasn't a miss. Pasculli has gone across to take the corner for Argentina. Ruggeri is forward. And that's headed clear for Uruguay by Pereira. Well, I did say it was like an English Saturday afternoon. We've now got some floodlights have come on to just brighten up proceedings here in Puebla.
Clouds overhead and a pass back to the goalkeeper makes us feel quite at home.
We'll see an offside in a minute. Here's Valdano. Maradona's gone to the near post. Still Valdano. And a corner. Argentina pressing here, looking for the second goal. And Uruguay could get themselves into a bit of trouble with the referee again for too many protests. They thought that was unfair, the corner. But they're hanging on in there, Uruguay, just for the moment. Valdano has threatened them twice. The corner is going to be taken by Burruchaga. Maradona's in there on the near post. Referee says corner again, and again Uruguay protest. Maradona wants it played short, and it is. Still Maradona. Oof. Alves kicks long, looking for Paz. Cuciuffo had the header. There's quite a gale blowing around the ground now. There's been a distinct change in the weather in the course of this match. The wind is ruffling the flags.
And you may have noticed it just blew the notes of the commentator on our right out into the stadium.
Yes, I think he's got to just use his memory now. And Maradona gets bundled over. Well, he can share ours, Jim. Free kick to Argentina. Burruchaga has gone across. Maradona's taken the heavy fall again. Free kick then for Ruggeri to come forward. Headed clear by Santin. Here's Garre. Maradona's in a good position again here. Still not on the back, but he still gets it. Tries to find Batista, but he's missed out. And here's Paz. And Uruguay got a break on, but the ball wasn't played right. They had Argentina short at the back there. As it is, it's an offside at the other end, with 25 minutes gone in the second half in Puebla. Argentina leading Uruguay 1-0. Paz. And again, Ruben Paz tries to get Da Silva in, and there was some defending to do there. But on the break, there's still the threat of Maradona. Edging the ball on to Valdano. Can he beat the last man? No, it was Pereira. Bossio. Da Silva's waiting in the centre. So is Francescoli. This is Santin. Pereira. Santin. Fair challenge. Brown. Burruchaga. That looked like a foul by Barrios. And there are pieces of paper, as you can see, blowing across the pitch. Perhaps that's the commentator's notes down there. But as you sip your cocoa back home, we've got very familiar weather around us now. Argentina 1, Uruguay 0. And Bossio to Gutierrez. Gutierrez again. Bossio again. Now Da Silva. Da Silva coming inside. And Paz. And Argentina haven't got this match won yet by a long way. Uruguay making a fight of it in the best sense of the word. Here's Paz, driving for the far post.
Well, that nearly got them back in the game. A surprise left-footed shot there from that oblique angle, only just missed from Paz. And we should be grateful to the referee for spotting that foul of Maradona's when he eventually got the ball in the net, disallowing the goal and keeping the excitement going in this game, because surely the second goal, which the Argentine team have gone for, they've not sat back at all, would finish it. But they've not achieved it, and the longer it goes on, the more heart that Uruguay must have for stealing that one goal and the equaliser.
And bear in mind that would mean extra time. Garre tries to get away for Argentina down their left. Play on, says Luigi Agnolin. Santin makes a run now, and across goes Brown. Brown to Burruchaga. Well, they've now pulled a piece of polythene over all the commentary boxes here to try and protect us from the gale. And Burruchaga tries to put Maradona through, but can't succeed. Pereira. Santin. And here's Da Silva. And a bit of a chance on here. Santin. I felt there was a deflection there that should have meant a corner, but it's not been given. Well, Santin is very upset. He felt the shot came off an Argentine player. And Jimmy Hill and I both agreed with him, but it's history now, it's a goal kick. "15 minutes to go in Puebla. Venancio Ramos. They've got players free on the right-hand side, Uruguay. And Batista had to step in. Here's Francescoli, fine challenge by Garre. But Uruguay are threatening now to take the Argentine half by storm. Gutierrez. Francescoli. And unless Argentina are careful, this is Gutierrez. Offside against Paz. Unless they're careful, Jimmy, this might run away from them.
Well, I'm still hoping, because I positively would prefer England if they got through to play the Uruguayans rather than Argentina, but there you are. They are pushing far more men up now, obviously. They've nothing to lose at this stage.
This stadium is very open at both ends, and supporters at the moment are actually trying to find a way of getting under cover. This is Santin. And a bit of a chance here if it's played right for Francescoli, but it wasn't played right by Venancio Ramos. This is Francescoli. Ramos is in the middle, so is Paz. And it's going out, and we've got extraordinary scenes here now. There's a man come with some sticky tape to try and protect all our monitors and papers. It's quite weird.
He's going to try and batten us down, I think, so that we can't blow away. It's raining so fiercely now over to our left, and it's just spread to the stadium, coming down in sheets. Everybody running for cover, but none of that taking the attention of the Uruguayans away from the main purpose of the next 15 minutes, to draw level with Argentina.
A lead that Argentina have held since the closing minutes of the first half, when Pasculli put them in front. A lead they should really have increased if they'd taken one of three very good chances in this second half, which they failed to do. So Uruguay are still in this second round match. It's Gutierrez for them. Looking for Venancio Ramos. Brown was the man who intercepted. Burruchaga. And now Batista tries to break on Argentina's left. Did he keep the ball in? Yes. Burruchaga's come to support him, number 7. Goes down, and the referee decides it's a free kick. The rain sheeting down here in Puebla. The sky almost black now. And Diego Maradona's attention focused only on this free kick. And he plays the ball in for Burruchaga. Half clearance, Maradona again. Francescoli and Maradona contesting the same ball, two of the world's great players. Santin for Uruguay. And they've got men in the centre here. Da Silva is up, so is Paz if Ramos can find them. And Da Silva's coming in. And it's just too long again. The wind, I think, is carrying those crosses.
In matches like this, rather like the Russia-Belgium match yesterday, when Russia failed to take that point-blank header and it hit the post and bounced out, the feeling was there must be some reason behind it, and one wonders if the Argentine team are not feeling that same thing. Why haven't we got more goals than that one, and is it going to cost us at this stage of the game?
Well, we shall soon see. That's a free kick to Argentina. There are 10.5 minutes to go on our watch. Playing for a place in the quarter-finals of the World Cup. And there you can see one or two of the flags being used as cover in the crowd, and my word, they need it. One of the Uruguayans has said something to Agnolin, the referee. I rather think it's number 5, Bossio. Anyway, the game is now back in motion with Cuciuffo. Valdano couldn't find Garre. Maradona, oh, free kick. The loudspeaker system extends to one speaker hanging from a piece of wire above the centre circle, and that's swaying fiercely in the wind, just to show you quite how dramatic this weather is. Here's Ruggeri. Francescoli made the tackle, and Argentina have got to get back. Burruchaga intercepts. Foul on the edge, was it? Francescoli on Burruchaga. Stamping down still this Italian referee on everything that Uruguay do.
He won a tackle there, went in and got the ball for himself.
Pasculli is waiting in the centre, and so is Valdano. Maradona has lined it up. Maradona curls it, and Alves able to make the save. Well, it's a long time since I've seen rain like this. It's an extraordinary scene. Paz. And again, number 18. Osio has made his way forward. Batista got the header in. 9 minutes to go of normal time. If Uruguay score, there could be extra time. Barrios. Gutierrez is up there. And Gutierrez again. And the clearance by Brown. But goodness me, it's a hailstorm. Gutierrez tries to flick the header on. And Romero's in there, and here comes Francescoli, and not the header that Cuciuffo intended in any way at all. Well, I'm not sure just what impression you're getting on your picture of this sheeting rain, but it's not going to flood the pitch at this late stage, but it's getting in everybody's eyes, that's for sure.
There's considerable lightning in the background, I have to say, and we're not looking for sympathy, actually, but I can tell you that we're sitting in our shirt sleeves here, freezing with goose pimples on both arms, because such has been the change in these conditions. Quite extraordinary.
Well, on the pitch, it's Santin for Uruguay. Ramos. And again. Challenges by Pasculli, free kick to Uruguay. It wasn't 10 yards away, Pasculli. Pereira. Well played, this is Paz. And it comes off Brown for the corner to Uruguay. Taken quickly. And it's Ramos who's got round the back here. Oh, and a poor cross. Right into the hands of the goalkeeper. Although the referee, in his wisdom, had already blown. Well, there are 7 minutes to go. And I'm just wondering, yellow card's been shown. A yellow card, I suspect that's for time wasting against Nery Pumpido. The Argentine goalkeeper has been shown the yellow card. The lightning now. And thunder. Paz. And still Paz. De Silva's in the centre. I think there's 6 minutes to go. We can't, even the watch is being affected by the weather here. And it's difficult to get this across quite how farcical this has become.
Well, I've just managed to cover John's bare arms there. We really are getting soaked in the front of this commentary box. I mean, the cover that's designed for this stand is not designed for this rain, I can assure you of that. Lightning on the left.
They're trying to make a substitution. The Uruguayans are protesting to the referee about time wasting again, because the other man won't come off. I think what they're trying to do, I'm trying to see through the the rain, is I think they want to try and replace Batista with Olarticoechea, but I think he'll be glad to get off the number 2, get in the dry. And the Uruguayans are saying, look, he's taking his time and he's wasting time. As the thunder peels down off the mountains in this dramatic setting, Batista has come off and Olarticoechea has gone on for Argentina. And there's a yellow card being shown. Another yellow card has been shown to a Uruguayan. I think it's Da Silva, number 9. And if it is, it's a suspension if they do go through. Well, Da Silva is booked, so he would miss another game. And there's, I don't know, between 3 and 4 minutes, I think.
We're not seeing very much football in the rain, I have to say that. The ball hasn't moved very far in the last few minutes.
Foul, free kick to Argentina. Pasculli and Valdano, I think, are at the men in the centre. And Maradona's up there as well now, as Burruchaga prepares to take this free kick. Giusti, Burruchaga. It's gone behind the goal.
I have to say that I've given up the hope that Uruguay would score at this moment. I rather wish the referee would decide to blow his whistle quite quickly, because the conditions here really are appalling. It has affected the game. In fact, I think it spoiled the Uruguayans' chances in this last 10 minutes of keeping their concentration and getting any pattern into their game, because they were pressing very well before this extraordinary weather struck.
Centine to Pereira, now Gutierrez.
It would also be a just result, because there's no question that on the play Argentina deserves to win this match. They have been the better side, they've created more chances.
Cuciuffo's made a mistake. Great save, Nery Pumpido from Da Silva, and he's down there on the rebound from Francescoli. Now then, the referee's in there again, sorting them all out. Quite extraordinary scenes here. And there's been a bit of pushing and fighting, and one of the Uruguayans is in trouble. The linesman's gone in to separate them. The goalkeeper's on the floor. And what happened first of all there was that Cuciuffo, the number 9, made a bad mistake. It presented the shooting opportunity, as you'll see here. That was his error. Da Silva, Pumpido makes the save, and Francescoli comes in to try and pick up the rebound and collides with the goalkeeper. But linesman and referee have had quite a lot to sort out there. And Enzo Francescoli, who, don't forget, is on a yellow card, is the man at the centre of the storm, and I mean storm in more ways than one. But those people won't allow it to dampen their spirits, it would appear.
And while all that arguing is going on, of course, time is ticking by, and as it's not the habit of referees to play stoppage time, it means, of course, that the Uruguayans are being denied the opportunity to get that equaliser. They nearly sneaked it there just at the end.
Yeah, they also argued very bitterly, Jimmy, about the time it took Argentina to make that substitution. Batista was clearly wasting time and pretending he couldn't see the number. Well, this is high drama. Two South American rivals who met in the very first World Cup final in 1930. There were some great saves then, I'm sure, but the weather certainly wasn't like this in Montevideo 56 years ago. On that occasion, Uruguay beat Argentina 4-2. On this occasion, Argentina are leading Uruguay by 1-0, and very much hinges now on exactly how much stoppage time Agnolin, the referee, decides to add on. I know this must seem strange to you at, what is it, 12:30 in the morning back at home. This is Santin. It's a throw to Uruguay. They're desperate now. Gutierrez. And Argentina get the ball out of defence, and Jorge Valdano tries to put Pereira under some pressure. And Agnolin appears to have checked with his two linesmen, but he's given Uruguay a free kick against Garre. Pasculli is pushed forward, so is Pereira. And they've left somebody free. Paz it was. Still Paz. They've got the ball out to Maradona. And he's got the ball clear to Pedro Pasculli. And Pasculli's through against the goalkeeper, and he made it look so obvious. He showed him which way he was going to go. And Argentina have and there's been a punch in the face. Pasculli has punched the goalkeeper in the face behind the referee's back. It wasn't seen. As they both got up off the ground, Pasculli struck the goalkeeper. And he was very fortunate that that wasn't spotted. He would have been sent on without a doubt. And still, the stoppage time ticks by. Maradona tries to win the ball again. Again, and he's going down the line, Diego Maradona. Well, the referee has played 2 minutes overtime to try and compensate for the stoppages, and we've had drama all the way here in Puebla. Argentina still lead Uruguay by 1-0, and I think it's over. Yes, it is. Argentina are through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. They've won 1-0, Jimmy, in quite extraordinary conditions.
Well, quite unforgettable. We've seen everything. We've seen brilliant football. We've seen loss of tempo. We've seen superb refereeing, really. I don't know many referees that would have coped with all the things that happened in that match. Argentina, without any doubt, are a threat in this World Cup competition. They've outstanding players, Valdano and Maradona. They've entertained us. They've got the one goal they needed, and it would be a pity, I think, to see them go from the competition at the end of this game, which they so well deserve to win. We say goodbye, Uruguay, with very little regrets.
Indeed, Argentina gets belated revenge for that defeat back in 1930. As the crowd start the celebration, and the rain thankfully eases just slightly here in Puebla. The final score in this second round match, Argentina 1, the scorer Pasculli, Uruguay a very wet and disappointed 0.
Well, I don't know if 1930 was on their mind very much for that match, but Argentina indeed are through, and the quarterfinals very much shaping up now. Brazil play Italy or France, Brazil having gone through comfortably earlier this evening. It's Morocco or West Germany. They play tomorrow. You'll see it live tomorrow night. They play Mexico. Argentina now through to play England or Paraguay, who play Wednesday. You'll see that live here on BBC. And Denmark or Spain, which is also live the same night for you, play Belgium, who won that fine match against the Soviets last night. Laurie, some thoughts on that match we've just seen?
Oh, well, I didn't enjoy it very much, not from the football point of view. I think we've now seen all of the South American teams that are going to get through, because England are obviously going to beat Paraguay. So obviously, of that lot, Mexico, Argentina and Brazil are the three to go through, and Brazil are the best of the three. I don't think Argentina are up to the standard of their captain, Maradona, who's a tremendous player. And I think if he was in the Brazil team, you might have the little missing link, you know, the Pele, which they haven't got at the minute. But it was a damp squib. The weather dampened everything at the end, but from the start it looked
including
as though
Watson's glasses, I think.
Well, he had his little wipers working. He never gets caught out, John. He's catered for everything. But Jimmy covered his arms. That was nice to hear.
Let's have a look at one or two of the chances that were missed, as it turned out, in that second half. Maradona involved in nearly all of them.
Yeah, well, Terry made the point about he is fearless, and I think this is another trait of the great players. He's now got the time to steady himself, look up, and he gets right to the byline, which is a favourite position for forwards because the defenders are wrong-footed, and all the man's got to do is sort of slide in, and he did, but he didn't make contact. Now that was a very good chance, and I think it would have obviously killed them all off before the last little flurry that Uruguayans had. But he's got everything, hasn't he? He's got when they talk about low centres of gravity, he's got this tremendous build of thick set and the strength that goes with it, and touch and vision and everything.
He's got great strength, yeah. Yes. He's so powerful, and he leaps, and he still retains his balance. His balance is terrific, and he's always aware of what's around him. You know, this is what makes him really great.
I think that was probably his best performance so far in this World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say it was. I would say it was, and I think that he'll be a bit disappointed that some of his good work wasn't finished off in a better fashion. I wouldn't have thought.
A bit like you and your pocket dynamo.
I would have thought so. I'm a bit quicker.
Build.
Bit quicker.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at one or two of the other chances that went by the way. Here he is again, the little man.
He makes everything happen, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He gives it to this fella. No, his job is to get to the byline if he can, and he's forced his way around the defender there in the box. Defender's frightened to tackle. The seven's coming in. He's read it well, but he was tentative, wasn't he? He didn't go through with it, and just scrambled it away.
It was poor finishing, wasn't it? I mean, he should have done it better.
The referee blew up there, didn't he, for a foul? But
I mean, he's done it everywhere. I mean, he's not giving him a control problem. He's laid it on nicely, and he's just fluffed it. Simple as that.
I'm not quite sure where the foul was there, actually. Were you sure?
No,
not bothered, well, it wasn't a goal.
No, I think he was doing his best for Argentina to win anyway, the referee, so I don't, whether it was fouls or not, he was going to give them.
Let's have a look at one of the other efforts in that half.
This is
Maradona's involved in everything.
I mean, any forward there would have definitely jumped over his leg, but he wasn't favourite for that.
That's the foul, I think, Terry, isn't it? That,
yeah, it's possibly pulled. He should have played it across the goal. Actually, in actual fact, he was. Yeah.
I can't see that was disallowed for him having his foot up there, but I think possibly on the run-in he clipped the back of the lad's heels, which was accidental. But that would have once again tied it up.
Might have been the earlier foul just outside the box there.
But they were the better team. They created more chances.
There's no doubt. I think that they, without having that, been able to sort of really get stuck in, which is their style. In the end of the game, they just thought, well, old habits die hard. I can't wait any longer. I've got to give him a bit of stick. But that didn't happen. They behaved themselves for most part of the game, but they just couldn't hold on to it, could they? And I think without that, they wasn't the same team at all.
I got a spot of news in here tonight. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge is back in favour with West Germany. He's in their starting lineup for the first time against Morocco tomorrow. He had a clear-the-air talk with manager Franz Beckenbauer after being left out of the first 3 matches and appearing only as substitute. And 5 of the managers who took teams, listen out to this, you fellas, to Mexico, they're no longer in their jobs. First to go Hungary's Metzai, Portugal's Jose Torres quickly followed, Bulgaria's Ivan Vutsov quit after last night's defeat by Mexico, and tonight we hear Zidane of Algeria has been fired as well. And Scotland's Alex Ferguson, of course, had already carried out his pre-tournament notice to quit. Well, there we are. Thank you, gentlemen, for your ministrations tonight once again. Tomorrow night, live, Morocco against West Germany. Morocco, remember, won England's group, conceding only 1 goal in the process. Now, these 2 countries met in the World Cup the last time it was held in Mexico 16 years ago. And then the Moroccans almost brought off a shock result.
Overrun. Now, Pablo's again running well off the ball into space. Got side and Oman up with him. Zidane coming up on the left. He's going to be offside. No, he's not. And it's a goal! It's a goal scored by Oman! And Morocco has taken the lead. Dribble. Beckenbauer. Held in minutes of the second half gone. Still West Germany 1 down to Morocco. Winner. Taylor. He's equalized. Taylor's done it. Number 17. Sure. Rabowski. And, oh, it's hit the mark! Puebla has scored!
Well, can the Moroccans conquer the West Germans tomorrow? You'll see it live on World Cup Grandstand at 10:50, plus highlights of France against Italy. John Motson and Barry Davis, your commentators for the big games, as they will be on Wednesday for the England match and Denmark against Spain. Well, England now know who will face them next if they beat Paraguay. It's Argentina. From us, good night.
Giusti, Maradona, still Maradona, Batista, and Burruchaga, two in the middle, Valdano couldn't get it